The overcrowding is a big issue that we have to deal with as ICRC, obviously. It's the biggest of many countries' problem today, and obviously if everyone knows the consequences of overcrowding, meaning promiscuity, health issues, contact with the outside world, transfers from the prison to the judicial authorities, we rarely speak about the causes of overcrowding, which are multiple and multifaceted. So in our opinion, evidence-based strategies are the best in terms of trying to get a sense of which positions in the channel, in the penal chain are the most critical to address. So obviously we have noticed that many countries have more preventive detainees than sentenced detainees, and countries need to work on those type of issue. Another issue that is identified is the lack of alternatives to detention, meaning that the norms contemplate the use of alternatives to detention, but are very rarely applied or implemented. And I think in many regards, the public opinion also plays a role in the efficiency of the alternatives to detention. So those alternatives need to be promoted, like community services, probation, and another aspect of the causes of overcrowding is what has to do with the legal aid. We noticed that very few detainees have access to legal aid from the start, from their arrest, which obviously limitate their potentialities to appeal or to use legal services prior to their sentencing. So building new prisons, it's something that we often hear in the public debate about overcrowding. In our opinion, and according to many surveys, it's a short-term strategy to address overcrowding. Governments need to pay obviously more attention to the root causes of overcrowding and try to mitigate them. New prisons, from our perspective, end up always by being filled, and constructing a new prison addresses only consequences of overcrowding. So in many regards, we try to promote the real strategies which concern mainly preventive detention, alternatives to detention, and we need to consider that building a new prison can also be incentive for judges to apply more restrictively the incarcerations. Yeah, we obviously work very closely with the Ministry of Justice in order to find the diagnosis. We recently in Burundi helped the Permanent Commission to draft a plan of action, because we think that overcrowding has a humanitarian cost. So not addressing overcrowding and not addressing the causes of overcrowding can have a very bad impact on the solution that will emerge. So helping authorities in the problem analysis and bringing our expertise in what are the root causes of overcrowding and how they can be addressed. Well, I think governments in general have set up mechanisms to deal with this type of irregularities. So we obviously are very conscious of specific vulnerabilities in prison. Of course, you have persons who have persons of big age. We can say that they are more vulnerable than the others. So our role as a humanitarian organization is to identify those cases and in a confidential and bilateral manner present them to the authorities. Obviously, treating the caseload of cases which judicial guarantees have not been respected is part of our mission. And in this bilateral and confidential dialogue with the authorities, we try to identify those cases and make the authorities responsible for those cases to try to address them.